The NFL doesn't have an off-season, so the draft is meant to play like the Super Bowl of the second season, with a mock draft meant to teach and maybe even entertain. And it's safe to say the NFL draft has a lot of entertainment value just by being what it is. Today we're going to discuss the top 12 first-round projections for the 2023 season and talk about the drama that could lead in the first round. Starting off with number 12, Houston Texans. Coming from the Patriots, general manager Nick Caserio never had the first overall pick or needed a quarterback, but the position has to be at the top of his list of things to do this offseason. As for Bryce Young, he's shown elite-level skills for the past 2 seasons, even though his team has fewer playmakers this year. One of these playmakers was John Mechie, who missed the first season with the Texans while getting treatment for leukemia, wishing him a speedy recovery. During his junior year at Alabama, when Young was at quarterback, Mechie caught 96 passes for 1,142 yards and 8 touchdowns, which is impressive. Even though Young is 6 feet tall and weighs 195 pounds, his size will still be debated. But unless a team trades up to get one of the best defenders, he's the odds-on favorite to be picked first. Next up at number 11, we have the Chicago Bears. We think it's fair to say there are no longer as many questions about Justin Fields. As for Will Anderson's way of rushing the quarterback, well, it's similar to that of Hall of Famer Derek Thomas and future Hall of Famer Von Miller. He's just as good at stopping the run though. We wouldn't mind if he went first overall, and after trading Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn this year, the team's general manager Ryan Poles wouldn't think twice about taking the fast pass rusher. Followed by Seattle Seahawks at number 10. What if we told you that the best player on a historically great Bulldogs defense with 5 prospects taken in the first round wasn't even eligible for the draft after last season? Yep, that's the case here. Jalen Carter sure can mess up an offense's plan and attack from any defensive line spot. Also, the Seahawks defense against the run has been a big problem that needs to be fixed if they want to beat the 49ers in the NFC West. But if the Broncos keep going, GM John Schneider will have a lot of options to choose from. Not to mention at number 9, we have the Detroit Lions. Well, we won't say too much about Jared Goff because he's had a good season, but we're still not sure he's the long-term answer at quarterback for a young, talented Lions team. And as Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and DeAndre Swift will lead the offense, we think CJ Stroud is the perfect point guard because of how accurate he is. Now for the Arizona Cardinals at number 8. We all know the offensive line for the Cardinals hasn't been very good, and Kelvin Beachum will be a free agent at the end of the season. As a true freshman in 2020, Peter Skoronski took over for Rashawn Slater, and the offense didn't miss a beat. On top of that, some scouts might say that his size makes him a better guard, but they said the same thing about Slater, so we guess we'll have to wait for the season to start first. Coming up at number 7, the Indianapolis Colts. It's common knowledge that the general manager, Chris Ballard, has tried to deal with the quarterback position by trading, as there will be some choices in free agency, but he'll probably still have to draft one. As for Will Levis's senior season, well, we think it hasn't been as good as his 2021 season, which was actually really good. But here's the deal. Levis has a good aim, is big, 6'3" and 232 pounds, and can move around, which is what usually gets an offensive coordinator excited. He might have a better season next year, but it's up to him. What's more, at number 6, we have the Carolina Panthers. The attempt to trade for Deshaun Watson was not successful, and recycling Sam Darnold and the recently released Baker Mayfield hasn't worked either. This means the Panthers will be looking for a quarterback again, but the board doesn't break right for that here. At this point, there aren't many things that are for sure, but we're pretty sure that Bijan Robinson, who won the Doak Walker Award, will be the first running back taken, and after trading Christian McCaffrey with Deonta Foreman about to become a free agent, this would be a good choice for the Panthers. Let's learn more about number 5, Philadelphia Eagles. Howie Roseman, the general manager, added former All-Pros Quinn and Ndamukong Suh to fill in some holes on the defensive line. Brian Breezy was undoubtedly the best overall recruit in the 2020 class, as he showed flashes of dominance as a true freshman in 2020, but he only played 152 snaps in 2021 before tearing his ACL. Fortunately, he's returned well, and we think would play well with Jordan Davis. Not to forget, number 4, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders are a dark horse in a possible quarterback race for this draft, but they are always trying to improve their defense. Wilson was one of 9 FBS players to have 60 tackles, 10 tackles for loss, and 6 sacks before breaking his foot against Kansas, which ended his season. This makes him a talented pass rusher who's on his way to getting better. On top of that, he's quick off the ball and strong enough to immediately make an impact at the next level. And with him on the team, it would be hard to double team Max Crosby. Coming up next, Jacksonville Jaguars at number 3. We think Trevor Lawrence's growth would go to the next level if he played with Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, and Johnston. As for Johnston, he plays like Deebo Samuel because he forces missed tackles when he has the ball. But Samuel is 4 inches shorter, and Johnston is 6 feet 4 inches and 215 pounds, which gives him a slight disadvantage. Following up at number 2, Houston Texans. The Texans have needs everywhere, but if they added Addison to their young offensive core of Young, Mechie, Damian Pierce, and Nico Collins, Marlins, they would have a very solid foundation. On top of that, the 2021 winner of the Biletnikoff Award, Jordan Addison, is a smooth route runner who is fast enough to challenge a defense at every level. Now at number 1, Seattle Seahawks. The Seahawks hit 2 home runs in April when they picked cornerbacks Tariq Woolen and Kobe Bryant with their first 2 picks, but since being traded to the Pacific Northwest, Jamal Adams hasn't quite reached the goals he set for himself in New York. Adams will be 28 years old next season, and he'll be coming back from a quad tear that ended his season, and a torn labrum that ended his season in 2021. On top of that, Brian Branch is one of the best tacklers in the defensive backfield and can play anywhere in the secondary, which places the Seahawks in safe hands. Moving on to the drama that could lead in the first round. First off, Arizona Cardinals picking early. The thing is, Arizona's quarterback is locked into a contract that makes it nearly impossible for them to look for a different option for next season, and because of this, they aren't likely to pick a quarterback, but it could be a place for a team that wants to trade up and pick a quarterback to go, though. On top of that, the Cardinals are currently set to pick 5th overall, so they may have to decide between Alabama edge rusher Will Anderson Jr., Georgia defensive tackle Jalen Carter, or trading the pick for other players. Up next, Chicago Bears picking early. First-year general manager Ryan Poles is in a position to pick 2nd overall, and the rise of quarterback Justin Fields gives them time to think about all of their options before the draft. And if it looks like the quarterbacks will be taken early, teams with needs like the Colts, Panthers, and Falcons may want to move up. Realistically speaking, Houston will probably pick a quarterback with the first pick, so the real draft starts with the 2nd pick. But there's no set time that a trade has to happen, as 2 years ago, a month before the draft, the 49ers made a deal with the Dolphins to move up to the 3rd spot, followed by the Detroit Lions picking early. The trade for Matthew Stafford by Los Angeles still has an effect, as Detroit is set to pick 4th overall, and we think it's a great chance to pick one of the best quarterback prospects who are eligible. The Lions may also like starting quarterback Jared Goff, who has been there for a while. As for the NFC North team, they started the season with a record of 1-6, but they have won 6 of their last 7 games and are now in the running for the playoffs. Many people thought the team would pick up a quarterback who could be a franchise player, but they might pick one of those star defenders instead. And the drama comes from the fact that nothing is certain. Now the Philadelphia Eagles picking early. We think the Eagles now have the chance to pick 9th overall through a trade with the Saints. Howie Roseman, the team's general manager, is always looking for a deal, and last year was a great example. Philadelphia had 3 first-round picks, but only used 1 because they traded for Titans wide receiver A.J. Brown and gave their other first-round pick to the Saints. On top of that, Roseman has a lot of money and can make another move that changes the draft. Last but not least, Aaron Rodgers and/or Tom Brady retiring. It's fair to say that the NFL landscape would look different without 2 of the biggest names in the sport, but the league will be in that position sooner rather than later. After this season, Brady's contract will be over and Rodgers will be turning down a lot of money. So where would that take each of those 2 franchises? Even though they have a 6-8 record, Tampa Bay is the NFC South's playoff team and will pick 19th overall. Theoretically speaking, Carolina and Atlanta have a chance to catch up to the Buccaneers, and Green Bay is set to pick 14th overall right now, as, since 2009, it has only been in the top 20 twice. But this is all just speculation, for now at least. That's all for this video. What are some of your projections for the first round of the NFL Draft? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more exciting content in the future. Thanks for watching. See you next time.